questions about how to make these really pretty rose buds out of burlap, and I thought I would just do a quick video showing you guys how to use them. So what we're gonna use to make them is we're gonna need scissors, we're gonna need something for the stick. Now I just had skewers in my kitchen drawer that we'd never used, so that was pretty easy for me. I'm just gonna cut them off so that we don't have a pointy edge on them. Hot glue and hot glue gun. I'm using high temp. You can probably use low temp, that's just what I happen to have. And then I'm gonna use burlap. You can use really probably any ribbon that you want. The slicker the ribbon, the harder it's gonna be to work with, but burlap is really pretty simple. Now this is a roll I got at a Walmart in the craft section, and it's 5 inches, but for the size of flowers that I'm gonna do today, which is these, for this size of flower, you're going to want them to be 2.5 inch ribbon. So I just cut this in half in strips. So we're gonna start off with about a yard, maybe a little bit more, I didn't actually measure it, of burlap. And I've cut it into 2.5 inch strips. Now, you can buy ribbon, which is what this one right here is, that was already 2.5 inches wide from Michael's or Hobby Lobby, and this one is really pretty. It's burlap with like a lace overlay, so it's adds kind of another dimension to it. But today I'm just gonna use the plain one to finish out my bouquet. So what we're gonna do to start out with is we're gonna just kind of lay your ribbon or your burlap flat out, and we're gonna start all the way over in the edge here, and we're just going to put a line of glue. Now we're gonna take our dowel rod or our skewer in my case, and we're just gonna set it on there and let it set. Be very careful because the glue, especially on this burlap, is terrible about going through those little holes, which I get glue on my table or on my fingers all the time, and it's kind of easy to clean off, but it's kind of frustrating too. Now while I'm letting that sit, I'm gonna go ahead and cut off the end of my stick here. So scary. Just to make it a little bit easier to work with. So whenever your glue is set, you're going to kind of roll it. Just start rolling it, maybe like a roll and a half. Once you have hit all the way around, you're going to take some glue and just kind of do another little string of glue right there on the bottom, right there, and roll it, finish rolling it around, and you're gonna hold it. So this is going to be the start of our flower. So that's our center right here. It's gonna be our center. Again, be super careful to not burn yourself. Now, one of the main things that we wanna remember is that flowers kind of go out. So we want it to be really tight at the bottom and kind of flare out at the top. So we're gonna hold, make sure that you're pretty much always holding it. I'm right-handed, so I'm gonna hold it with my left hand on the bottom, just to kind of keep it with the shape that it's supposed to have. So once we get the rolling part done, we're gonna start folding, and the rest of the flower is pretty much just folding, gluing, folding, gluing. So we're gonna take our strip of burlap and we're gonna fold it up just like that, and that's what we're gonna have. So this is rolled, and we're just gonna fold it up. We're gonna kind of fold it out a little bit at an angle, so it's not gonna be straight up and down in the middle of your burlap strip. It's gonna be kind of off to the side, and I'm gonna show you why here in just a second. So once we have that, we're gonna flip it back up at the bottom with a little bit of crease. That's gonna make it easier just for our next step. So once we have that, we're going to take it where it's creased and we're gonna glue it down. So we're gonna start on this side, because that side's gonna go under on this one. I just burned my finger. So that side, and then we're gonna roll this around, again, holding it really tightly at the bottom. All the way around until we get to this side, where we're also going to glue that down. hold it there for a second, just until it cools down enough so that it's not going to separate, which will probably still separating. That's okay. So I'm going to hold it down while I do the next part. So we have this again. We're just going to fold it down, make it pretty even with what we are, the other folds that we have. And we're going to, again, kind of fold it at an angle. Now the reason that we're going to fold it at an angle is because the flower goes around and around. If we folded it like this, it would just keep going on one side. We wouldn't want that. So we want to fold it at an angle, again, where we're kind of off to the side here. We're going to fold it back up, again, at an angle. So everything that we do is going to be at an angle. And we're going to spin it around. So we're going to put a little bit of glue on the bottom on this side. And a little bit of glue at the bottom on this side where it was creased. Now you'll see that I'm not actually going all the way to the bottom right here. I'm all the way up here on this, and here's why. If you're gonna do like a single rose or a boutonniere or something, it's probably a good idea to go all the way down to the bottom, but it's kind of wasteful for me because mine is going in a bouquet where you can't really see the bottom of the flowers. So just to save on the ribbon or on the burlap, I don't go all the way to the bottom. You just want to make it look good on the top pretty much. Okay, so we're here now. We're gonna, again, fold it at an angle, fold it back up, spin it around. So we are doing the exact same thing over and over on this, and eventually, after you've made enough of these, it kind of becomes mindless. And so it's one of my very favorite crafts to sit and do at the end of the day when I have a lot going on in my mind and I really don't want to think about what I'm doing, but I want something pretty at the end of it. So we're here again, we're going to fold it up at an angle, and we're going to crease it at the bottom at an angle, okay. So we're just going to keep going with this over and over and over. Fold it down, fold it up, crease it at the bottom until we run out of ribbon. Pretty simple. Okay, so I'm going to, once I get to this point where I don't have much left, I'm gonna look and see, am I okay with just one more, which I think that looks fine, or do I want to try to get 2 more petals out of that? If I want to try to get 2 more petals out of that, I cannot fold it down very much at all. And I actually think it's gonna look, well, either way really looks fine. Just because I don't want to deal with that, and I feel like I have enough. I'm gonna go ahead and cut some of this off once I figure out where I want it. Figure out where I want it, and I can see that I'm going to cut off about here. On burlap, it doesn't fray nearly as bad if you cut it right there in the same line, which I've seen on Pinterest where it tells you like to pull one out. I don't do all that. I just try to cut it in as straight of a line as I can. In that grid, kind of makes it easy. It gives you something to follow. So on the very last one, we're just gonna put glue right here at the very bottom. Super awkward position. At the very bottom, and we're gonna just hold that down. And that's it. That's our flower. Really cute. Just one more little tip here. At the bottom of mine, sometimes if I haven't done a very good job of holding it taut at the bottom, I can turn it upside down and I can see lots of, this one's not so bad, but I can see lots of gaps. If I see gaps in them, which is just really just this one right here, on this one, I like to put a dot of glue in there and then just hold it down, just so that it kind of keeps the shape a little bit better, but then also so that it doesn't come loose. Like I said, mine's going in a bouquet, so it's not so bad. But if these were not going in something that was just gonna sit there, it might be good. Now, whenever I get done, I like to look at the shape and see if there's anything that I want to fix. And I see that this outside one right here is a little bit too puffy for my liking. So I'm just gonna take my glue gun and I'm gonna slip it right in here, and I'm just gonna do a little dot of glue on the inside there, and then I'm gonna push it in just to make it not so puffy. Again, the glue is coming through there, so you just kind of have to be careful with it. If you want, you can use like your scissors to hold it if it is burning your hands. Anyway, so that's it. Pretty easy. That's my quote-unquote tutorial. Nothing too crazy or fancy. And then you're just gonna stick it in wherever it looks good. I am not a flower arranger, so I don't really know how to make that look beautiful, but there it is. That's what we got there. And I think that this is like 14, maybe 14 flowers altogether. We have these that are burlap with lace. This one's just plain burlap, and then we have the red ones. All right, guys, if you have any questions, let me know. Thanks.